Hello everyone, Johnny Minder here, and today we are continuing to learn Japanese with Pokémon FireRed. Last time we talked to the NPCs inside the gate to the upper part of Route 2. Also checked out at least one wild Pokemon there, but yeah, didn't find anything in particular. And so finally actually arrived, and properly arrived, not just to heal the previous time, at Pewter City. We checked out its Japanese name, location in relation to the real world. And we actually talked to all the NPCs in the Pokémon Center, except for one that we started but didn't have time. So yeah, we'll finish that first and foremost and then go around the city. Doubt we'll finish it today, but we'll do it, and eventually, of course, there's a certain something in the city that's quite important. But yeah, first, let's actually start. Okay. And yeah, we have the usual summary, in-game summary, the usual antidotes, leaving the forest from the just like that. Then actually from the top, yeah, this one is properly. So yeah, we talked to these NPCs also. Arrived at Pewter City, and yeah, this time actually properly. Last time, and yeah, we checked out the. And yeah, we saved her here in front of this girl. And yeah, we'll continue talking to her. Okay, we actually yeah, I didn't properly didn't expect it apart from the start. But yeah, I think we actually missed some dialogue here, but yeah, oh well. What's interesting, better in the sense that it will be faster. But yeah, I'll explain it myself. Not that we particularly cared about this feature anyway, but oh well. But yeah, first and foremost, she says, "Hi, mata atta wa ne." So yeah, hi again, as I've seen at the start, as in usually would be technically the word for yes in Japanese, but yeah, it's also used as a here, both as a response to a roll call, when calling for someone's attention, and so on. So yeah, it has also these usages. Mata, then, we actually studied its kanji, even though nowadays it's not used usually with the kanji, it's written in kana. And not just here because here we have all in kana, but yeah, also when using kanji, usually you write it in kana. Mata accented, it means again, and yeah, in this case, it has other meanings, but yeah, that's the fundamental one, and it's the one also here. Then we have atta, which is from au, to meet, should be accented, but we'll check. Verb, colon verb, to make that a form, we have to follow the rules. Yeah, accented. It's in u, actually ending with the u kana. So original was actually in pu. So yeah, we changed the u into i to make the conjugative form. Apita, but then they file apta, difficult to pronounce, double consonant ta. Ta form, and so actually past form of the verb in plain speech. Then we have wa, final sentence particle. We have two final sentence particles here. First and foremost, wa, which is a female term or language. Technically, emotion or admiration, also according to the dictionary, but yeah, simply female term or language. So yeah, typically used, as we can see here in games, when female characters are talking. As we have seen also before in this very series. Then we have the usual ne at the end. The most common usage is right, isn't it? Yeah, technically we could say it's like that also here, as in yeah, isn't it? So yeah, here she's saying simply again here in that usages we have seen we have met again, isn't it? Yeah, here we have this Atarashi profilu ga dekita no kana? Yeah, we have Atarashi, new, accented should be the adjective. So yeah, after it being an adjective without any changes, we have the noun modified by it. Profilu, in our case here, so yeah. Profile from English. Actually, more specific, as you might have noticed by the slightly different pronunciation. Profile, yeah, from French. The accent, is it like, yeah, it is like in French, so yeah, on the I of fi, profilu, subject particle ga, dekita, from the kiru. To be able to do is the most common translation, but in this case it's to be ready, we could say. Say when something is prepared. Another typical usages for such for the kiru in such a way is when a meal is ready and then people can eat it. You can use this verb. But yeah, so in that sense here. And so yeah, by the way, yeah, is ready, set up, and so on. There are several similar various translations, all of that kind. But as usual, yeah, with the kiru we use the subject particle for whatever is. Also, you are capable of, when using it for potential forms of verbs in the structure kotogade kiru, but also in this sense, even more so, technically. But yeah, the kiru verb, ru verb is an verb, so yeah, we can simply drop the ru, make the continuative form, and then attach star, so easier. After that, we have no. The nominalizer for verbs, as we have seen. Thing as in fact. Yeah, in this case, yeah. We could then also say simply is it. As we have seen also in the expression not as and so on, yeah, it's still related here. Then we have kana at the end, technical compound particle, ka, the interrogative one, the simple interrogative one, na, the particle with so many usages, but yeah, in this case kana in particular, when combined, it has the meanings I wonder, and so on, should I, but yeah, in our case, the translation is I wonder if the new profile is ready, set up. We can say hi, yes, yeah. Here we can see its usage, typical usage is that ie, no, the fundamental way to say no in Japanese. And then we have this setsume or kiku. Setsume or setsumei, if you still keep the ei pronounced as a. In standard Japanese, technically is now long e. Setsume, regardless, unaccented, it's a Chinese compound, means explanation. Or other similar translation, but the fundamental one is explanation. Object, particle, or written as one, pronounced as such in careful speech and also singing. And then we have kiku, unaccented, to hear, to listen to. There's technically one written with a different kanji, but still related to ask. Yeah, because if you ask someone, you listen to what they have, to their answer. So most likely related, and also, as we have seen, should be also based on the accent, which is the same, unaccented. So yeah, we could listen to it. I quickly show what happens when we say hi, yes. Ima no anata wa donna kanji? Yeah, first we have ima. In this case, the one accented like that because it means clearly now. With another accent, it accent on the last, accent on the e on the first mora, now. On the second mora, on the ma, the last mora, living room, so yeah, no. Then we have the possessive particle no, of now, literally. Then we have anata, the usual, the fundamental second person singular pronoun, so you in the singular. Originally polite, but yeah, nowadays considered actually often regarded as at the very least distant, if not straight up rude. Of course, still used in, when needed, and especially here in games we've seen when not specifying the noun for a more generic you. The actual way to say quote-unquote you in Japanese is actually using the name followed by the usual suffixes, the fundamental one, san, and so on. Cioè, calling out to the person we're talking to. But yeah, regardless, then we have wa written as a ha, the topic particle. Then we have donna, the usual dono yona, part of the koso do series, close to both the speaker and the listener, so far from the speaker, close to the listener, far from both. Do the interrogative, koso are usually an accented do, accent on do itself. Dono, which, demonstrative adjective, here the demonstrative, the interrogative one, so yeah, which, yo, way, method, kind, we could also say in a way. Technically would be form, style, design originally, but yeah, then way, method, and so on. An adjective, so the na, and then simply gets contracted regardless the accent is on the dot. Then we have kanji, yeah, no, in this case not the kanji, we have studied some of them, as already mentioned, also for mata, for example, today. This one, kanji, still unaccented, but it actually comes from kanjiru, a verb which means to feel. Then other similar meanings, but the fundamental one is to feel, as in and by the way, technically is, as I think I mentioned before, a Chinese pronunciation of a character, kan, and then we had a form of suru that then actually simply changed. But yeah, that jiru is actually still related to suru. So, applied to certain words, we have that form, but yeah, it's the usual making the verb from by adding suru to do it on its own, unaccented. But yeah, ru verb is a verb, so yeah, by dropping the ru, we make the conjugative form used also as the corresponding noun, so yeah, feeling, sense, impression, so in our case that. So yeah, she's saying, as for you of now, what kind of feeling, sensation implied do you have? Could be simply the copula, des, also ka technically, or another copula depending on the register. Technically here better plain speech, I'd say. But yeah, regardless, we have then sasoku oshete. Sasoku, I've already seen it, an adverb. Chinese compound, and it's actually another one, an accented, lucky, like most of those. At once, immediately, and so on. Oshiete from osheru, to teach. The fundamental meaning, to teach, to instruct, unaccented. But yeah, also, as we can see here, simply then to tell, to inform, so on. Ru verb is a verb, so we can drop the ru to then make the conjugative form to add te to make that the form. Here clearly in with an implied at the end of a sentence. And so yeah, with the implied kudasai, as we have seen, kudasai. I won't repeat it this time, the explanation, but yeah, simply it becomes technically the polite imperative with the usual, the shorter explanation, yeah. Polite imperative with a form of giving, which after the form is means do the favor of doing. So yeah, nowadays we could simply say in translation that please do the action of the verb in te. So yeah, please tell me at once, immediately. And so yeah, we have this technically and yeah, we'll check quickly here what it says. I wanted to at the very least show this feature. We might avoid the in-game explanation. But yeah, here, well, at the bottom it says Yotsu no kotoba o kumi awasete profiru o tsukuro. Yeah, I didn't mention it, but on the very top of the screen we have profiru again. But yeah, what I said at the bottom, we have Yotsu, numeral plus counter combination, the usual Tsu general purpose counter of strictly Japanese origin, so we use strictly Japanese numerals. In the case of the 4, actually we have seen, usually we would use yon regardless. Here actually there's shorter yo, and also with the dubbing of the following consonant with the Tsu, but we have seen. There's also the variant without that change, but yeah, nowadays usually with the doubling. So yeah, Yotsu, accent on the Tsu again. Unfortunately, not always. It depends on the number, this one. And in this case, honestly, it's better to straight up remember them. Most are on the Tsu, let's say. But there are some exceptions. But yeah, 4 of general 4 things, Yotsu. And yeah, actually, technical accent on the last more, but here technically should then become an accent because of the following possessive particle, because that's the rule of that particle, unlike most other ones. After it, so yeah, we actually put the numeral plus counter possessive particle no before the noun, and it's one of the ways to count things in Japanese. After it, we have the noun kotoba. Technically, a compound word, a compound noun from koto. This one nowadays usually not used on its own for word. It's found in compounds like this one. The one, yeah, kotoba is the actually the word used for word in Japanese nowadays usually. And then also other similar meanings, technically also language, even though there's a more specific term for that as well, actually. But yeah, more generically speaking, can also be language, speech, and so on. But yeah, as I was saying, a compound with koto, and then ba, actually ha, and yeah, the voicing is again because it's the second word part of a compound. Even more so is because of strictly Japanese origin. Ha, an accent on its own means leaf. Then by extension can be played of grass, by the fundamental one meaning is leaf. So yeah, literally would be word leaves, leaves of word, words. Yeah, simply that term nowadays used for word and all those related meanings. As for its accent on the last mora, kotoba, I guess could be because we apply technically the rules of compounds. In this case, the most typical one, which is the accent on the first mora of the second part of the compound. But yeah, then we have the object particle o. Then we have kumi awasete, another compound, in this case a verb. I wonder if we have actually seen it before, maybe not. But yeah, it comes from kumu. Kumu on its own, accented, it means to, well, it has several meanings. The fundamental one would be technically we could say to put together, as in then simply generic unite, to join, to put together, then also by extension as in to construct, assemble, can also be used to cross legs or arms, to link arms. Maybe that's actually the original meaning, but yeah, then got a more generic and abstract technically meaning of to unite, and then the other ones. Regardless, U verb go and verb, so we can change the U into I to make the corresponding the conjugative form, technically also the corresponding noun. Kumi, by the way, is actually also used as a suffix for several things. One of the most common ones you might have actually seen before in anime and so on, class. So yeah, classes are usually distinguished by ear and then group, could say. So yeah, the class, the group is then kumi. Usually then, of course, also with the voicing actually, as typical of for the reason we've already mentioned for kotoba. Here, simply conjugative form required to then add the second verb part of the compound, awasete, from awaseru, accented, to match. Well, actually more in general would be to join together, to unite again, unsurprisingly. Yeah, in this case, more specifically then, as in to match rhythm, speed. In this case, actually, would technically be the transitive form of the verb. Straight up, in this case, actually, it's the causative form of au, which has those meanings, but it's the intransitive form of the verb. And yeah, we make the transitive by conjugating it au. We can change the u into a, becomes a wa actually, because it was a pu as mentioned. So that with the evolution of the language became, the p became u. So yeah, wa, we, wu, u remained simply u, then we, wo, but yeah, wa remained, unlike the other ones. We changed the u into a, and then add seru to make the causative form. Nowadays, considered straight up simply the transitive form of the verb. Yeah, clearly, in this case, not even the classical way to conjugate that. Yeah, you know, it's the regular one for contemporary Japanese. Yeah, so by combining these two verbs, kumi, awaseru, luckily still accented like awaseru. We have seen that unfortunately there are exceptions. It means simply to put together, combine, to join together, to join up. Interesting also to match against technically in a sport. This one is even closer to why we would combine the two for that. But yeah, more generic to put together, to combine. To verb with some verb like awaseru on its own. So yeah, we can simply drop the root to add te. Make the te form of the verb, in this case the regular, the fundamental translation, the action of the verb in te and the rest of the sentence, or by doing the action, while doing the action of the verb. Oh yeah, then we have profilu again, profile from French as mentioned, object particle again, and then we have tsukuro, from tsukuru, to make, the most, then we have all the different kanji technically for it depending on its usage, but yeah, the fundamental meaning is to make regardless, accented. U verb go and verb, so yeah, we can simply then change the u into o, and then add u, so yeah, o, actually long o, volitional form of the verb. here simply in its most common meaning, let's. So here it says, let's make a profile by combining 4 words. And yeah, we could do that technically. But we won't bother with it. I think this one is actually used for the communication, but yeah. I wanted to at least show it that it's here. And yeah, funny enough, what's used here is the default profile is Pokémon Daisuki Torena desu. So Pokémon Daisuki, technical compound between Dai. Yeah, here we actually see it in its most common pronunciation, Dai. Nowadays, the kanji we have studied thanks to this very series at the start. Big. Ski, the usual adjective. Accent on the key, unsurprisingly also because the U of Su is barely heard if at all between unvoiced consonants. It means liking, preferred, and so on. So yeah, with the big, so yeah, actually liking very much, loving, yeah. After it we have Torena, trainer, of course, and yeah, last but not least, des, with also that lengthening of the vowel, of course, simply for emphasis. But yeah, des, the copula in polite speech. The options here that we could use are Zenbu, Kesu. Zenbu means all, Chinese compound. This one should be accent on the first molar. We have seen it before. It is. So the second most common accent for Chinese compound. Technically, a noun can also be used as the usual with the possessive particle no. To make in practice an adjective, even though, yeah, strictly speaking, noun plus possessive particle. And then kesu, verb, which means to delete, to erase, and so on, unaccented. Funny enough, we've seen it in this very series in other parts. Also, the antidote at the start, I'm pretty sure we have seen in the summary. Okay, then we have Yameru, to cancel, to stop doing an activity. An accent, we have even studied this kanji. There's technically another kanji that can be used, but that one is more specific. This is the more generic one, and we have studied the kanji of that. Last but not least, kete, which we have seen, confirmation. Another Chinese compound, unaccented, this one. Vision, determination, yeah. We'll choose that. Yeah, then it simply says, Profiru wa korede ii desu ka? Profile again, topic particle wa. Kore, the demonstrative pronoun this. The particle could be with technically, so yeah, with this, or be the te form of the copula, being like this. I suspect the latter, but technically both could work in a way in this case, but yeah, the latter would technically make more sense. And then we have E, the usual adjective, which means good, and several other similar meanings or translations. E adjective, and yeah. After it we use des, technically the polite copula, as we have seen, also used to make the polite form of E adjectives. You simply actually conjugate the adjective. Here it's in its dictionary form, but even if we had conjugated it, it would still work. And then we had des to make the polite form. So yeah, pretty easy and pretty convenient. Ka, the interrogative particle, the usual one, nice. And then also the question mark here to show the intonation. Technically not required in writing, but yeah, they want to specify it just to make it completely unambiguous. And yeah, we can say hi or yeah again. Choose hi. I wonder if she'll say that also if... okay, no, that was different. But honestly, I'd say we can... we are... well, I'll quickly show this one. We've chosen... I wonder if this actually changes... if you do actually change that. But yeah, if you choose confirmation, but after simply without changing, she says, ah, yamechao no. So actually, as if I had chosen, let me actually test it quickly, just because I'm curious at this point. Yeah, if you choose Yameru, actually, you would have Henshu or Yamemaska. Henshu means editing. Should be I think an accented also Chinese compound as usual. Yes, it is. Object particle or and then Yamemas, simply Yameru. Drop the ru because it's a verbiage verb to make the conjugative form. In this case, to add mass, and so the auxiliary used for the polite form of verbs. And yeah, then the ka again. I say yes in this case. Okay, and yeah, if you say that's what she says when you choose that. But if I choose kete again, yeah, it shows up again. I guess if you actually change it, then you get a different sentence. But yeah, let's quickly check this since we have already it. Yamechao no. Yeah, first literally like in English. Yamechao is again from Yameru. In this case, we actually would be Yamete shimau. So yeah, the form by dropping the ru, make the conjugative form, and then simply adding te. Required because we then add shimau to end, to finish on its own. After that, the form of verbs either to finish, as in do completely, or end up. That's the most common meaning actually. End up doing the action of the verb, so do accidentally and so on. And then simply gets contracted. Yamete shimau, teshi becomes chi. Yame chimau, also another contracted form variant. More often than not, then further contracted chimau, chao, simply. Then we have no, which is actually used as a substitute of the interrogative particle. And yeah, here we can see it like that, clearly in that usage shown by the question mark. And then yeah, I wanted to quickly check this at least because she says Kekko kimagure ne. So yeah, Kekko. It has several meanings. Unaccented is a Chinese compound. In this case, it's it means quite. we'll see more meanings of Gekko when we get to them, because it's more complex. Oh yeah, then we have Kimagure. Yeah, that's why I also wanted to check it. Kimagure is technically a compound from Ki, yeah, the usual Ki, in this case the one we have. I haven't studied this kanji, but we have found so much because, yeah, surprising. It means spirit, mind, several extended meanings. And then this Magure, which shouldn't be. Let me quickly check it, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, the verb actually most certainly still related. Uses a different form. This form Magure is actually used only in such compounds like this one. The usual verb would actually be Magireru, so yeah, we only changed one vowel, so clearly still related. And in this case, this Magure clearly comes from a conjugative form of the verb. Magure on its own means gets the meaning fluke, chance, pure luck. Yeah, it's worth mentioning that Magireru, the verb that's clearly related, would even use the kanji if when we still use it accented. Technically, its meanings would be to disappear into, to be lost in, to get mixed in among. More often than not, you'll actually see it with extended and more actually abstract meanings. For example, to do something under the cover of confusion, technically to be confused in a way, more seemingly, more simply, and several other ones. But yeah, considering that, unsurprisingly, this actually this Kimagure unaccented becomes means whim, caprice, and so on, as the noun, but can also be an adjective. So yeah, capricious, fickle, and so on. So yeah, here, as in the adjective, technically. So yeah, she's saying to us, you are quite fickle, and then last but not least, the ne, with also a longer vowel, because for emphasis, aren't you? So yeah, wanted to show that technically there's more to that, but yeah, I wanted to at least show what that was about. But yeah, I'd say we won't spend more time for it. We've already spent a lot of time doing that anyway. But yeah, let's start going around the city. Talk to this guy first and foremost. This one says Nibishiti wa Mushitori Shonen Mitai ni. Well, actually, this isn't complete, so I'll actually send it. First, we have simply at the start Nibishiti, the name of our city here, Pewter City in English, topic particle wa. Yeah, we'll actually send it to see the rest. Mushitori Shonen Mitai ni Tada no Shumide Pokémon. And then I think actually it should continue again. At least we have more of it by doing this. Yeah, the usual Mushitori Shonen. We've actually seen it before because it's the trainer class of bug catchers. here actually insect bug catching boy, then here I'd say in the plural as in more generic words can be technically specified in some ways with pluralizing suffixes and so on. But even if you don't use them, words in Japanese can be singular or plural usually. So yeah, that's the case also here. I'd say plural as in more generic. So yeah, not only one, but yeah, even more so because actually after it we have mitai. Mitai is an adjective technically, is a suffix usually, which means like, sort of, similar to, resembling. It's colloquial technically. There are other expressions which are more formal. And then we actually here use ni. And yeah, because we are technically using it in a way as an adverb. Yeah, can also be seen because yeah, we use ni as the technically you could say the particle which means used for adverbs. Most likely actually its origin is the conjugative form of the classical copula nari, which is ni. Yeah. So literally would be being, like, bug catching boys. Then we have tada. Several meanings technically, but yeah, this is the fundamental one. Only, merely, just, simply. This is one of the most common ones. Accent on the first more. Yeah, we then use. Although actually, with that possessive particle after it, would also be. Yeah, no, that is more like when used as an adverb, so yeah, with tada on its own. With this, I think actually its other meanings like ordinary, common, usual, other ones, but yeah, not. I don't think it's in this case. We have seen it actually as free of charge. Yeah, I think. Usual in this case, but the best translation, but we'll see it when we fully translate it. After it we have shumi, Chinese compound, should be accent on the first mora. It is. It means hobby, pastime. By extension also taste is preference. Yeah. The fundamental meaning is technically hobby. Then we have the particle de. I think actually in this case would make more sense as the form of the copula again. Literally being the hobby, the usual hobby. Then we have Pokémon, of course. And then we have Yatteru from Yaru, a colloquial form of Suru, also has several other meanings. Yeah, that's the fundamental one, and I'm pretty sure it's like that in this case. Verb go and verb, so we have to follow the rules. It's in Ru, so it becomes a double consonant te. Again, we change the Ru into Yari te, but they fell Yar te, difficult to pronounce double consonant. The form required to then add Ru, actually Iru, then the E gets dropped for the contraction. But yeah, Iru to be as in to exist for animate things on its own, so yeah, people and animals. after that the form it's usage makes it's used for the continuing action or state. So in this case, are doing simply continuing action. After it we have Yatsu, so yeah, and actually a relative close up to the verb Yateru. Yatsu means guy, fellow, and so on. We've seen accented on the first mora. We've seen it before. And then last but not least we have Bakari. Full of. Well, technically it means only merely and so on, but yeah, more often than not when using Bakari is actually more in the sense that it's full of. There are other expressions for nothing but and so on. So you know, technically that's more like that, but yeah, in that sense, with that meaning still, with that. But yeah, so here is saying that it's yeah, we could say just, but because there are there are a lot of them in the sense. So yeah, we have seen at the top. As for Pewter City, it's full of guys, fellows, who are literally doing Pokemon, so who are training, we could say, who have better than in English Pokemon. As the usual hobby, just like and we've seen the bug catching boys, so yeah, all that, but yeah, the gist of it, yeah, there's there are all these there are just because there are actually a lot of them that that are doing that have Pokemon. Then he says, Shikashi, which is the conjunction which means however. Accent on the ka. The first she is the e is barely heard if at all because it's between a voice consonant. Shikashi. Technically, the second e can also be barely heard if at all, because there is usually a pause after it, and yeah, so the rule applies also to that. But yeah, strictly speaking, the fundamental one is the first one, shikashi. Shikashi. Or Shikash can become also. And then it says Nibi Pokémon Gym, so the Pewter Pokémon Gym, possessive particle no. Takeshi, which is the name of Brock's Japanese name. Wa, topic particle. Chigau. So yeah, actually, the Tada was more simply as a hobby, as we have seen above. That makes more sense. But yeah, Chigau, unaccented, is a verb which means to differ. Technically, then we could translate also as to be different, to be distinct. But yeah, it's a verb in Japanese. Last but not least, we have ze as the final sentence particle. made to a more language. She adds light force or emphasis to a sentence. I can tell you. As you've seen, also can be used with that to make a sentence threatening or ironic, but yeah, not in this case. Let's say makes more sense the former, but yeah, so he's saying. However, as for Takeshi of the Pewter Pokemon Gym, he's different. Okay, and it stops there. So yeah, I'd say we can take our usual break now, so that when we are back, we'll continue our exploration here of the city, starting with this sign. Yeah, if I go up to it, then I activate it. So let's do it like this. I still save, doesn't particularly matter, but we'll do it. And yeah, see you in around 5 minutes, most likely slightly less. And we are back. And yeah, so we can continue. First and foremost by checking this sign. And yeah, the usual useful, convenient bulletin board. These signs that have tips. This one in particular says Shobu no Toki Chotto dake demo. We have the usual Shobu, literally victory or defeat. That becomes by extension match in the context of Pokemon games battles. Possessive particle no. By the way, accent on the first mora, Shobu, Chinese compound of those. Possessive particle no, and then Toki. Toki, as you have seen before me, is a noun accent on the last more, which is means time, moment, occasion, and so on. Also can be translated simply as when used with verbs. Here actually I'd still use simply one of the translations as as a noun effectively. But we'll see then in practice. Then we have sotto, da che demo. Sotto, the usual adverb we've seen. Accent on the first mora. A little, a bit, yeah, again, most likely actually. That with the to and also the would be technically with, as in the quotation particle to, a chop. But yeah, it means a little, slightly, and so on. Da che means is actually the particle that more simply means only, just, simply. And then we have demo. Technically a particle. Even means again, actually, most likely I think that there is the form of the copula, and then we add the inclusive particle also even, and yeah, so yeah, we got the meaning even. Literally would be being that, whatever comes before it, even it being like that. Yeah, we'll see what it says then the rest. Yeah, okay. Now I get what he was about to say, but yeah. Because after it says Kao dashta Pokemon wa. So yeah, Kao means literally. I wonder if I find it technically as an expression. Yeah, literally it's Kao face. Let me actually check the accent. I think we have found it before, but not as often as other words. An accent, okay, yeah. As you might have noticed, body parts usually are either accented on the last mora or unaccented. This is one of the unaccented ones. Object particle O. Dashta, from dasu, yeah, the usual kanji, the usual verb. We've studied even its kanji, to put out, and so on. So yeah, literally put out the face, as in one's face. So actually, this the meaning of this expression becomes to turn up, as in to make an appearance. You can easily see why. Dasu, and so also in this expression, is a verb colon verb, so yeah. We have to follow the rules like it is in su, so we simply change the u into i to make the continuative form, and then add the simply ta. After it we have Pokemon, so actually another relative clause, and then the topic particle wa. Yeah, so far the translation I actually show it from the start. At the time of moment of a battle, as for the Pokemon who have made an appearance, literally put their face out, yeah, who made an appearance, even just a little. Yeah, Keiken see ga Morairu. Yeah, so what we have actually seen it already in practice when I did it myself, of course, to train our weaker Pokemon. Yeah, we have Keiken see. We have already seen it, the term, which means experience points in video games. From Keiken on its own, unaccented means experience. Chinese compound as usual. Chi is the the Chinese reading of the kanji for value in this case can also mean straight up price. Yeah, so literally experience value. The accent becomes accented before on the ke of the ken. So yeah, actually on the before chi, yeah, typical spot for the accent of when adding suffixes, like chi in this case would be a suffix. The accent can stay on the because yeah, it can stay on that. It stays in this case. In that case, we have to consider the syllable, and yeah, it isn't the fundamental part of the syllable. The vowel before it is so yeah, on the ke. So yeah, ke kenchi. Subject particle ga, and then morairu from morau, an accented to receive. Here, verb colon verb. So yeah, we can change the u into e and add ru to make the potential form can receive. So yeah, here is simply saying, as for the Pokemon who have made an appearance even just a little during a battle, we could adapt it like that, Shobu no Toki at the start. Better the order, we could keep it during a battle, and then the rest. But yeah, as for those Pokemon, they can receive experience points. Literally, experience points can be received, and that's why actually in its traditional form, the traditional structure for the potential form of verbs is whatever is we in English would consider an object as the subject particle, and then the verb in the potential form, because yeah, it's technically in the sense experience points can be obtained, can be received. We have seen that in practice, actually, nowadays, you can also use the object particle, so it's actually much easier, even though, strictly speaking, the structure is this one, the traditional one. We have seen it, funny enough, I'm pretty sure we have seen it last time we played Tomodachi Life on yesterday. But yeah. So yeah, that nice tip. We had already used it ourselves. Here we have a house here with an old man and a kid. Let's see what they have to say. Pokémon osu atete ikuto waza o oboeru. Okay, this is the also we've already seen it, luckily, because otherwise we would be in trouble. But yeah, Pokemon, as usual, object particle o sodatete. So yeah, in this case, actually, we've seen sodateru, the transitive form of the verb sodatsu, both accented, yeah. Intransitive in u, the transitive in eru, yeah, we have seen it before. This one, the transitive, to raise, to bring up. Cioè, sodatsu is to grow, and so on. Ru verb is and verb, so yeah, we can simply drop the ru to make the conjunctive form, and then the te. The te in this case is required because then we have the verb iku to go on its own. In this case, actually, I'd say it's as we have seen, when used after the form of a verb, verbs of movements like kuru, to come, and iku unaccented, by the way, they can have some different meanings. Either, well, we could technically keep them in some cases do the action of the verb and then go or come. Or do the action of the verb in the direction, in that kind of direction. So if you do it towards something else, iku. If you something comes technically towards you, kuru. Here I think more in a temporal meaning, because there's also that. So technically usually going forward, as in from a certain point onward. Going forward technically is good to keep in mind, to keep it even closer and to better remember it. That iku, it uses teiku in Japanese. After it we have to, a form of the conditional in Japanese, actually if, when, so can also be in a temporal meaning, similar to English actually, if, when. This one is the closest one to the zero conditional, even though not strictly speaking, not always, but that's the closest one. In this case actually makes sense, because technically with that automatically, technically, at a certain point, waza, the usual term for in Pokemon games, moves, more in general, technique, accent on the last more. We have even studied this kanji in a previous series. Object particle o. Oboeru, we have seen the verb, which means, well, more in general, then by extension becomes to learn. More specifically would be to memorize, to learn by heart, and so on. Can also be, by the way, to remember by extension. Here, in our case, here it technically would be a more generic to learn, let's say. Accented actually, so oboeru, low, high, high, low. So in our case here it says that if you implied you raise Pokemon going forward, they will, the present form of the verb in Japanese technically can also be used for a simple future. So I'd say better in this case, they will learn moves. We've seen it in practice. Then it says, shikashi, hito kara osowaranakereba oboenai waza mo aru zo. Okay, this is interesting, both as a tip, actually, and also for the Japanese. First and foremost we have shikashi again, however. Then we have hito, person, people. It's the fundamental word in Japanese for person. We have even studied the kanji of that. Kara, from, particle. And then we have this also waranakereba. Let's go in order. Actually, we have seen this form technically before, because of a certain expression, quite important. First and foremost we have also waru, which is actually more different than usual, but still uses the kanji and is still clearly related. Even with the differences, you can see that the first part, os, is the same as osheru, as we have seen, to teach, by extension also simply to tell, but the fundamental meaning to teach. And also waru is actually unaccented also. It means to be taught. So yeah, technically to learn, but as in someone is teaches us to take lessons in. And yeah, actually, interesting enough, it's technically mentioned to be a transitive verb in the dictionary, because yeah, I'm pretty sure we might eventually see it in practice, that you could still use a verb, an object, so something marked with the object particle, to mark what you learn, what you take lessons in, what you are taught by someone. So yeah, from someone, that from is technically by in this case. But yeah, so yeah, most likely like that, but we'll verify it when we find it in practice. But yeah, here we simply have from people. And then it's a verb, code verb. So we can change first the U into A to make the realist form, not yet state form. We could simply say nowadays in Japanese, contemporary Japanese, negative form of the verb, because usually it's required it's used to then add nai, the adjective which means non-existent, used to make the negative form of verbs. Nai is a I adjective, so we can actually then drop the I and add kereba. Kereba is actually, strictly speaking, a contraction of ku areba. And yeah, so the usual rule, we technically drop simply the I to add ku, make the continuative form of the adjective, to then add the verb aru on its own, to be, as in to exist, of inanimate things, literal objects, abstract things, and so on. It's also used in combination with the adverbial form, or the continuative form, more better, strictly speaking. And yeah, so you can see why we use the continuative form to then attach the verb aru. But yeah, it's used to conjugate, to fully conjugate I adjectives. And yeah, aru, verb, go and verb, so we can then change the U into E, in this case to add ba. Before proceeding with that, it's worth mentioning that nowadays we don't use the extended form na ku are ba. It's contracted like this. Yeah, you'll find it straight up contracted, na kere ba. But yeah, the ba is another form of the conditional. If, when, again, so can also have a temporal meaning. This one is the closest one to the first conditional, but yeah, actually, not always. We have actually seen it in practice in a previous series, don't remember which one, maybe Super Mario World. Used in translation, it was better as a second conditional. But yeah, regardless, this is a more generic technical conditional. But yeah. So yeah, we have the conditional, but we have passed the conditional form of the negative of the verb. So yeah, if, when, well, better if, I'd say in this case, if you aren't taught, and then we'll fully translate it later, but yeah. After it, we have oboenai, so oboeru again, to verb and verb. So yeah, we can drop the ru to make the negative form of the verb. So yeah, it's easier for those to then add nai as usual to make the actual negative form. So yeah, it's still, I'd say nowadays, better to still think it as irrealis, not yet state form of the verb to avoid the confusion, because yeah, technically the negative form of the verb is when we add nai also, the present negative. But yeah, regardless, so yeah, in this case, don't learn after it was a, so actually relative close. Then with the inclusive particle mo, also even. And then last but not least, aru on its own. So yeah, when we find it, yeah, as mentioned, to be assumed to exist technically, in practice, then in translation, we can simply use it more often than not as there is, there are. Last but not least, the final sentence particles or another male term or language. This one adds force. I'd say still simply emphasis also, as we've seen. But yeah. So what he's saying here is, however, there are also moves that you don't learn if well, in English we would have to adapt it, that you don't learn unless people teach you, unless you are taught of them by people. In Japanese, strictly speaking, it would be you don't learn if you aren't taught from people. So yeah, actually easier technically. So yeah, you have to learn them by being taught from people. You have to learn from people. So yeah, that was interesting, something new. And yeah, so there's that aspect. Let's talk to this kid. He says, funny enough, yeah, we start again the usual stuff here. Nemuri, Doku, Yakedo, Mahi. Yeah, we've already seen them at the trainer school in Viridian City. And also some in practice, because we actually got affected by them as or our opponents. Yeah, there's the status conditions. Nemuri, unaccented, sleep, because it comes from the verb nemuru, to sleep. We change the U into E to make the corresponding noun. Doku, poison. Let's start up a noun, accented on the last mora. Yakedo. We've already seen it. It applies the reading, a strictly Japanese reading of a compound, as we have seen, to a kanji combination, but we'll see that when it eventually shows up. By the way, that I might not have mentioned, the kanji combinations, the first kanji is the one for fire, which we should have already studied. On its own, he accented fire in the strictly Japanese word. But yeah, yakedo, a compound which comes from the verb yakeru, to burn, the intransitive form of the verb in this case. So a weird one, which is actually the transitive in u, the intransitive in eru. But yeah, there are also a couple of those. most likely actually because it depends on if the original verb was intransitive or transitive, and then the derived one becomes in eru. But yeah, yaku, to burn. Transitive, yeah, this one, the intransitive one, to burn. Though we have seen, pretty sure was from an abbreviation of Tokoro, place, spot, and so on, also with the voicing as usual, because it's the second word part of a compound yandage of strictly Japanese origin. So yeah, literally, place, spot, burned. So yeah, yakedo means actually burn as the noun, scald. But yeah, last but not least, mahi. Yeah, this one is one of those we have seen in practice thanks to Pikachu. Paralysis, accented the first mora, Chinese compound. Paralysis or numbness. Yeah. So yeah, the list of those suspension dots. Then it says Pokemon no Taichou ga warui to, and then we actually show the rest also. Tsukamae yasui yo. So actually pretty yeah, here is saying after the list of those status conditions, well, actually not all the status conditions, but yeah, the most common ones. Then it says Pokemon possessive particle no Taichou, which means body condition, so yeah, actually physical condition. We have seen it before, most likely because of, in this series, because of this very topic. Unaccented is a Chinese compound. Subject particle ga warui. Warui, you might already know it if you have heard of the origin of Wario's name. Because yeah, Warui means bad, accented. Yeah, bad, also by extension poor, as in poor quality, inferior. Straight up evil also. Yeah, the fundamental meaning, bad, evil. Then we have to again, so the conditional if when could be also temporal. And then we have Tsukamae yasui yo. Tsukamae from Tsukamaeru, unaccented, yeah, typical verb of Pokemon games as we have seen. To catch, root verb and verb, so we can drop the root to make the continuative form. In this case, to add then yasui, a adjective used with this meaning strictly in combination with verbs, not on its own. It means easy to do the action of the verb. So here, easy to catch. Actually, we could say easier to catch. Yeah, we don't usually conjugate the adjective in Japanese for the comparative meaning. It's simply understood by the context. More often than not, actually, even clearer when we have a term of comparison with yori, the particle yori, so then in that case it's undoubtedly comparative, but yeah, more in general you could say that it's that. So yeah, we could technically apply it also here in this case. Yeah, then last but not least, the final status particle yo, you know, I'd say, so yeah, certainty, emphasis. Yeah, so he's saying here, if when the physical condition of the Pokemon is bad, it's easy to catch, it's easier to catch, you know. Yeah, after that it says demo. then suspension dots, so technically demo, again, most likely the origin the same as already mentioned. In this case, actually used as a conjunction. Literally, still the meaning being, even being that the case implied, even being that implied, and it's referred to what has been said before. So even being that the case, so actually the meaning of this conjunction is but, however, even better, I'd say, though. And then we have Kanarazu. We have seen it, it means without fail, without exception. I keep it like that because while nowadays it's not used, based on its structure, it's actually clearly an expression that a negative expression with that a. Again, the a, notice, found also in verb, column verb, in contemporary Japanese conjugations, to make the realis not yet state form, and the zu is actually another, an auxiliary in this case, for the negative. So a negative expression, so I'd say better without exception, fail, strictly speaking. Then we have Toreru, well, actually it should be accented from Toru, to take, then by extension we could say simply to catch, another of the expressions used in Pokemon games. Accented. By the way, we have seen also technically would be with a different kanji to take also specifically photographs. We have seen that in Pokemon Snap. Verb gonna verb, so we can change the u into e and add ru to make the potential form of the verb again. And then after it we have wake. So wake, strictly speaking, is a noun, so actually it would be a relative clause. Wake means accent on the first mora, reason, cause, other meanings. In this case, with that, after it we have ja, which is actually a contraction of de, wa. De, again, the form of the copula. Wa, technically the topic particle again. So as for that being the case, literally speaking, or we could also say, and it would make sense in this case, the usage of the topic particle with negatives. Because actually, to make the negative of the copula, we have to first change it into its the form de, add wa, so in this case it's not optional, most likely required again by the negative, the following negative, and more often than not nowadays actually contracted is into ja. You can still find dewa, especially in more formal contexts. Then we simply add nai. So strictly speaking, this is the negative form of the copula in plain speech. And after it we have mitai again. So it seems in this case, it looks like so here is saying, however, it isn't, it seems that it isn't the reason that the Pokemon implied can be caught without exception, without fail. So yeah, strictly speaking, so yeah, sorry, but more free translation would be it seems like that you can't catch them without fail, even when you of course referred above, even when their condition is bad. So yeah, so that I've seen. Perfect. Okay, we can continue. Here nothing. Here we have checked out that guy. Okay, we have this. Let me quickly check. Yeah, after that there. So yeah, let's tackle first this bottom part. So yeah, let's check this. Yeah, here we have the sign actually. Koko wa Nibishi. Koko, part of the Kosodo series, we call this place. So then simply here, topic particle wa Nibishi, name of our city, Pewter City. And yeah, actually, as we see, this is the typical sign found in these cities. With the usual structure, we should have seen practically an identical one in Pallet Town, Massara Town, with of course the changes depending on the city itself. But yeah, this one, as for here, as for this place, it's Nibishi, Pewter City. And yeah, then he mentions, it says Nibi wa Hairo Ishino Hiro. And yeah, it says as for Nibi. So yeah, actually in a sense we have an explanation of what I mentioned last time. Nibi, as in the color, is Hairo. Hairo is the name of the color gray. This is actually the fundamental one. Literally speaking, it is from high, actually an accented high, which means ash, ashes. The strictly Japanese word. And then we add Hiro on its own color, accent on the last more, when added as a suffix to make the name of colors like this one, and also Nibiro. It makes the word unaccented, so yeah, it's you have to remember it, but actually it's way more convenient then. So yeah, Hairo, gray. Then we have Ishi. Ishi, there are technically more than one, but yeah, this one is clearly the one from, also based on the context. Accent on the last mora, Ishi, which means stone, rock, technically also pebble, but yeah, a relatively small stone rock. Not a boulder, because yeah, that has a different Japanese word for it. Accent on the last more, not here because we have the following no, so actually it becomes an accent, Ishi no. And then we have Hiro. So yeah, here it says, as for Nibi, it's the color gray, the color of stones, rocks. So yeah, actually we have here a description of the color. So yeah, as we have seen, so yeah, it's a gray, but a dark gray. So yeah, technically the color of rocks, as it says here, of stones. Okay, let's talk to this guy here. It says shoe. think actually it could be based on the context, because I remember that because based, yeah, and it is straight up the onomatopoeia for that also. It can be several, it mimics a sound that is shoo. So yeah, it can be a hiss, a swish, a whoosh, and so on, whiz, fizzle, spatter. Yeah, we'll see which one in a second based on what he says after. Well, actually, he asks us here. Boku ga nani yatteru ka wakaru? So yeah, first we have boku, first person singular pronoun, I, method or language, subject particle ga, nani, the interrogative pronoun, which means what, yatteru again, so yeah, I'm doing casual because we use yaru. Then we have the interrogative particle ka. So technically would be a question on its own, what I'm doing, what am I doing? But yeah, here, as you can see, it doesn't end here. After it we have wakaru. So yeah, this is actually how you make indirect questions in Japanese. So yeah, pretty easy actually. You put the question as if as it is with the interrogative particle. And then after it we actually put the verb, the main verb. In our case here, wakaru. Wakaru means to understand. Okay, drink some water. But yeah, to understand, we could say also when translating, then can be simply do you know technically, but yeah, strictly speaking it would be to understand, to get technically in that sense also. But yeah, so he's saying, do you understand what I'm doing? And yeah, we can say hi or yeah, again yes or no. I actually say no first. And yeah, he says, Kadan ni yasei no Pokémon ga hairanai you ni. First and foremost, we have Kadan, which means flower bed. Funny enough, there are actually other Kadan, but yeah, this is clearly this one based on the context. Accent on the first mora, it's a Chinese compound, but one of those. And yeah, ka means flower. Dan means actually platform, podium, and so on. But yeah, in our case here, it becomes a platform, quote unquote, for flowers. So yeah, actually a flower bed. Particle ni, so to. Actually, I'd say into in this case, as we see, because required by the verb. Yase, no Pokemon, wild Pokemon, yeah, the usual term Yase, Chinese compound. So important for Pokemon because yeah, it means wild. Unaccented and strictly speaking a noun, but one that takes the particle no to make that in practice an adjective, so a wild Pokemon. So particle ga hairanai. And yeah, so we have hairu. Yeah, we've studied its kanji. It means go, come, get, into, to enter. Yeah, with that into, as mentioned, you can see why it requires the particle ni. Hairu accented on the ha, because I becomes a diphthong in this case, so the accent moves, can stay on the second vowel part of a diphthong. Again, we consider the syllable as for the accent in this case. So it moves on the ha. Verb, colon verb, despite being in Iru, so be careful, it's one of those in Iru, verbs in Iru and Eru, which aren't verbs, it's verbs as most of those are, but there are some that are actually verbs, colon verbs, you simply have to remember them. We can see it here in practice because we change the U into A to make the, in reality, not just safe form to then add 9, make the negative. In plain speech, but here actually required because then we had yo. Strictly speaking, would be technically relative close, modifying yo. But here, used as a physical expression. I'd say so that we see it better with the rest of the sentence. Here it says Mushiyoke spray maiteru no sa. First and foremost we have mushi again, insect, bug, unaccented on its own. I wonder if I actually find it as is, this compound. Let's see. Yes, actually it's present. This yoke. Funny enough, actually would use a different kanji. Usually you wouldn't use this one for yokeru. This one is used specifically when used as a suffix, technically, like in this case, with this kanji. But clearly the origin is the same as yokeru, as the verb. Let me actually find it to check again the accent. We've seen it before because yokeru means to avoid physical contact with. With the same kanji, you can also write the verb the same kanji as the full verb, not this one. The verb sakeru. Okay, both accented. Okay. Suppose as I thought. We've seen them at least once before. I think maybe in this series, still yokeru specifically, I think. Sakeru means to avoid a situation, evade a question, and so on. So yokeru physical, sakeru avoid something abstract, a situation, and so on. But here used. Still clearly related. Ru verbs, it's non verb, so we can drop the ru to make the corresponding the continuative form, and so the corresponding noun. So literally would be insect avoiding. It's actually used this mushi yoke unaccented, a compound of strictly Japanese origin, like with that kind of accent, for insecticide, insect repellent. You can see why from this, based on the origin. Then we have spray, pretty easy, spray from English, with the U of su, barely heard if at all, because it's between a voice consonant, so actually even closer to English. The accent, actually, this is, on the other hand, it changes. the accent is on the poo. Okay, not possible in English, of course, because they're just consonant, they're spray. But yeah, in Japanese, the accent is on the poo. Actually, I haven't mentioned it yet. You might have noticed already. When we have such changes of the accent, it tends to be, I think the examples we have seen so far might have all been like this. So at the very least, there's a tendency, not straight up, always the case when we have these changes. Tends to be the accent of the third to last mora. Yeah, that's actually because that's the most typical spot for the accent in Japanese. Can also be seen in proper nouns, in given nouns. Proper names, given names. We'll see that again when the time comes. But yeah, so simply the insecticide, insect repellent spray. And then we have Maiteru from Maku. I think we might have seen it once. This one, the verb. There are more than one, but yeah, this one, clearly based on the context, is the one that means to scatter. In our case, actually, to sprinkle would be better. Changes the meaning depending on the kanji accented, maku. There's another one which is unaccented and it's actually unrelated. Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, the other one also accented, like this one, it means to plant, to seed, to sow. So yeah, you can see actually, because yeah, technically to plant, to seed, you scatter seeds, so yeah, clearly related. But yeah, here simply sprinkle. Verb and verb, it's in ku, so we have to follow the rules. It becomes ite, but yeah, because we changed the u into i, makite, but then the k fell, so yeah, only the i remained maite. And then again to add the iru, here simply iru because of the contraction, so yeah, continuing action or state. Then last but not least we have no as the usual nominalizer thing as in fact. And then last but not least sa as the final sentence particle. In this case, when used as a final sentence particle, it indicates a session, mainly masculine, but yeah. So yeah, here is saying, yeah, actually show it from the start here. So yeah, the shoe that we have seen, it's the sound of the spray. So yeah, what we said, I think, whoosh, no, a fizzle better maybe, or oh yeah, that kind of sound. Shh. It's easier to straight up mimic it. Yeah, we said no, and yeah, so explained. So in order, well, so that wild Pokemon don't go into the flower beds, I'm sprinkling the insect repellent spray. Oh yeah, so that. Let's see here what he has to say when we actually say that we do. Okay, not sure what happened. But yeah, we say yes. And then it says, so, sore. Wonder if someone has won a match, a football match. But yeah, regardless. First we have so, from technically another Kosovo series word with the U, so actually long vowel O, then so becomes in that way, so thus, such. I'd say in this case actually it's like that. Yeah, we could say technically kind of like a yes, but yeah, in that sense. And by the way, reminder that it can be unaccented, as should be for that reason, because of its origin, when used as an adverb. When used as a noun, it actually becomes accented, so yeah, be careful. It's one of those words that changes the accent depending on the usage. Then we have sore, that, cioè implied it's a copula, it's that. So yeah, it's like that, it's that. And then it says kekko hone ga oreru yo. And yeah, we have kekko. Again, I'd say in this case simply quite. And then we have this expression. I don't remember if I've seen it already. I remember that we have brought up hone at the very least. But yeah, hone on its own means bone. Let me actually check its accent. Accent on the last syllable. Yeah, this is one of the body parts. Accent on the last syllable. Subject particle ga. And then the verb oreru. Accented actually. So oreru. High, low, high, low. Which, strictly speaking, would be to be folded based on the kanji. Then by extension becomes also to break, to be broken, to snap, to fracture. Also I extend the meanings, but yeah, these are the fundamental ones. So yeah, literally speaking, it means the bones, most likely, actually plural. Break, fracture. Yeah, by the way, oreru intransitive, so yeah, that's why we have the subject particle ga. But yeah, this expression means to be harder to do, to be difficult be difficult, to require much effort, maybe even better considering that to be laborious. Yeah, funny enough, there is a similar expression technically in English, not exactly the same, to be back-breaking, as shown also by the dictionary, so yeah, that's the closest one technically. To have trouble doing. So here is saying it's quite back-breaking, literally bone breaking in Japanese. So it's quite laborious. It requires much effort. So yeah, I've seen what you had to say. Oh, yeah, actually that's perfect. So with that, we have actually checked everything here so far. I can quickly show. Yeah, I'd say yeah, here on the left we have the gym, as you might have recognized by the graphic. Yeah, here we have the shop, so yeah, we'll continue next time. We also have these, we'll actually try to go outside of the city to see something. But yeah, I'd say first and foremost we'll actually check. Yeah, the writing here is the same usual. We are full of Pokemon goods, the friendly shop. So yeah, that's actually the name of the Pokemon in Japanese friendly shop in general. It's mentioned before. But yeah, we'll actually save that here. So yeah, we'll start with the shop next time. Oh yeah, can close the game. And yes, so today we have continued going around, well actually properly started going around Pewter City as we have finished the Pokémon Center. And yeah, we practically explored the bottom part of it. So yeah, next time, which won't be on Friday as usual because I'll be busy. Yeah, I'll be actually out of town, so if I actually come back, even if I come back in time for the stream, yeah, no, I wouldn't be in conditions for it anyway, so yeah, no, we're skipping it. So yeah, actually, for this series, we'll continue on Monday. Of course, in the middle, we'll have on Wednesday another Let's Learn Japanese with series, and I will start a new one. I'm pretty sure at this point I will actually start Star Fox, the Super Famicom version. As you can see here, I have it on the side because of that. On Sunday, we'll have a stream mostly just for fun. Pretty sure there should be a festival in Sonic Racing Crossworlds, so yeah, we should play that, and also to continue the game itself. Yeah. See you next time.